Do you really believe that to make a woman obsessed with you forever, all you need is a $100 million bank account, a Ferrari parked outside, and a mansion in Beverly Hills, California? If your answer is yes, brother, you are completely wrong. Think about it for a second. If money and luxury were enough to keep women loyal, then why did Jeff Bezos, one of the richest men in America, get divorced? Why did Elon Musk, a man who literally owns rockets and billions, go through breakups? And why did someone like Tiger Woods, with fame, cars, mansions, and endless wealth, still face betrayal and heartbreak? If luxury was the solution, these men would have been untouchable. But they weren't. So here's the shocking truth I'm about to reveal in this video. It's not money, not looks, not fame, not power that makes a woman truly obsessed with you. It's something far more dangerous, far more magnetic, something hidden in psychology that 99% of men will never understand. And let me warn you right now, what I'm going to share will completely flip your beliefs upside down. You'll start questioning everything you've ever been told about attraction, relationships, and female psychology. Because once you learn these 7 psychological tricks, you'll realize that obsession has nothing to do with what's in your bank account, and everything to do with what's in your mind. So buckle up, brother, because by the end of this video, you'll never look at women the same way again. Trick 1, emotional contrast, the addiction of unpredictability. If there's one thing you need to tattoo on your mind, it's this. A woman does not become obsessed with comfort. She becomes obsessed with contrast. When you look at the kind of men women keep replaying in their heads, it's rarely the nice guy who always says yes, who is predictable, who plays it safe. No, it's the man who makes her heart race 1 second and then makes her feel grounded the next. It's the unpredictability that hooks her. Think about London on a rainy afternoon. One moment the sky is gray and dull, and then suddenly the clouds break and the sun pierces through. That sudden change in mood, it makes people stop, notice, and feel alive. Emotional contrast works the same way. When you can switch from playful to serious, from challenging to caring, from teasing to protective, you create the roller coaster effect. And let's be honest, people don't queue for hours at Alton Towers or Thorpe Park to ride the carousel. They wait for the roller coasters. Because human beings are addicted to highs and lows, to the thrill of unpredictability. Women are no different. Now, this doesn't mean being unstable or toxic. That's not contrast, that's chaos. Real emotional contrast is controlled. It's being confident enough to shift gears when the moment calls for it. It's knowing when to pull back and when to push forward. For example, imagine you're with a woman in a cafe in Manchester. You're laughing with her, teasing her, lightly about the way she mispronounces a word. She laughs, but then you lean in, lower your voice and say something real, something that shows depth. Like, you remind me of someone who doesn't let life break them easily. In that moment, the mood shifts. Her heart feels both the lightness of fun and the depth of intimacy. That's the addictive contrast. Psychologists say the human brain remembers moments of heightened emotion far more vividly than neutral ones. That means if you give her only comfort, she forgets you. But if you give her comfort and intensity, fun and depth, challenge and protection, your face stays burned in her memory. Every woman in the UK or the US has experienced the nice guy who texts her good morning every day at the same time, says hope you're well on repeat, and never dares to break the script. But do they obsess over him? No, they appreciate him and move on. The men who trigger obsession are the ones who make her heart feel like it's riding up and down on a track she can't fully predict. And here's the kicker. When a woman links you to the feeling of being alive, she ties that feeling directly to your presence. Even when you're gone, she'll crave you. Not because of what you gave her, but because of how you made her feel. Trick 2. Scarcity creates value. Let's be brutally honest for a second. Most men destroy their chances with women not because they're bad men, but because they're too available. They give unlimited attention, unlimited validation, unlimited time, like a free streaming service with no subscription fee. And just like that, their value drops to 0. Think about it this way. Imagine walking down Oxford Street in London or Fifth Avenue in New York. There's a luxury store, Louis Vuitton, Chanel, Rolex. Do they ever scream for your attention? Do they beg you to come inside? No, they stand there, almost cold, almost distant, because they know their scarcity creates value. They know people line up for them. Women work the same way. If you're constantly texting back instantly, canceling your plans for her, showering her with compliments before she's earned them, you send one message loud and clear: I'm abundant, I'm everywhere, and I'm too easy to get. And what happens to things that are too easy? People take them for granted. But here's the psychology twist. The moment you become scarce, your value multiplies. When your time is protected, when your attention must be earned, when you show her that you are not another man dying for her validation, you flip her brain into obsession mode. Let's take an example. Say you're in a pub in Birmingham or a bar in New York. A woman tries to draw you into a conversation. You're polite, you engage, but you're not throwing yourself at her. You're not available for every question, every story, every second. You lean back. You keep your energy measured. Suddenly, she starts leaning forward, trying harder, giving more of herself. Why? Because your scarcity created value. It's the same reason diamonds are worshipped while glass is ignored. Both can shine. Both can look beautiful. But one is scarce, and scarcity makes the brain go crazy. The secret, though, is balance. If you're too scarce, she'll think you're uninterested. If you're too available, she'll think you're weak. The mastery lies in the middle ground, giving just enough attention to spark her hunger, then pulling back to make her chase. Women in every English county, from London to Manchester, from New York to Los Angeles, are wired by the same psychology. They value what they fear losing. So if she feels like she has unlimited access to you, she'll never value you. But if she feels like your time and presence are treasures she has to earn, she'll guard them like gold. Remember this: scarcity doesn't make you selfish, it makes you valuable. And the man who understands that rule never chases. He lets her chase him. Trick 3. The power of mystery. Never reveal everything. Every man in England, America, or anywhere in the world has made this mistake. They meet a woman they really like, and within hours they pour out their life story, where they grew up, their deepest secrets, their dreams, their wounds, their failures. Everything is out on the table. And what happens? The mystery dies, and with it the attraction. Women, especially in places like London or Los Angeles, are constantly surrounded by men trying to impress them. Men who over-explain, overshare, and overwhelm. But the man who keeps a little back, the man who lets her wonder, lets her guess, lets into her lean forward in curiosity, that's the man she can't stop thinking about. Mystery is not about lying or playing games. It's about revealing yourself slowly, like the chapters of a novel. Imagine picking up a thriller in a bookstore in Manchester. If the first page told you exactly who the killer was, why they did it, and how the story ends, would you keep reading? Of course not. The suspense, the curiosity, the unanswered questions, that's what pulls you deeper. Women are wired the same way. Think of James Bond. He never explains himself fully. He answers with short, deliberate words. He looks into a woman's eyes and lets silence create tension. That's mystery. And because of it, women lean in, not just with their bodies, but with their minds. They wonder, who is this man really? What's his story? Why doesn't he need to prove himself? Psychology shows that curiosity triggers dopamine, the same brain chemical that creates obsession. When she doesn't have all the answers about you, her brain keeps replaying your words, your expressions, your silences, trying to solve the puzzle. And the longer she can't fully figure you out, the deeper her interest grows. Here's a simple example. You're walking through Hyde Park with her. She asks about your past relationships. Instead of spilling everything, you smile and say, "Let's just say I've learned what I'll never settle for again." That's it. No details, no drama. Just enough to spark her imagination. And trust me, she'll spend the whole night wondering what you meant. In contrast, the guy who tells her every detail, the fights, the tears, the heartbreak, becomes predictable and boring. He leaves no space for her mind to wander, no mystery to chase. And when there's nothing left to discover, her interest fades. The truth is this: women don't fall for the man they completely understand. They fall for the man who makes them feel like there's always more to uncover. So never reveal everything. Give her just enough to stay hooked, but always leave her with a question mark. That's the power of mystery, and it's one of the fastest ways to make her obsessed. Trick 4. The leader's aura. Dominance without words. There's a difference between being liked and being desired. A man who wants to be liked is agreeable, soft, and eager to please. But the man who is desired, the man women chase, is the one who walks into a room and immediately sets the tone. He doesn't ask for attention. He commands it. That's the leader's aura. Picture this. You're at a rooftop bar in New York or a stylish lounge in London. Groups of men and women are scattered around. Most men are hunched over their phones trying to look busy. But then one man walks in. He's not loud. He's not trying. Yet everyone notices. Why? Because his body language screams presence. His shoulders are back. His steps are deliberate. His eyes scan the room with calm confidence. That's dominance without saying a word. Women are biologically tuned to respond to leadership. Not controlling, not arrogant, but leadership that radiates safety, direction, and certainty. In evolutionary terms, women survived by aligning with men who could lead, protect, and provide. That instinct hasn't disappeared. Even in 2025 in modern cities, women are still drawn to the man who carries himself like he knows where he's going. But here's the key. Leadership isn't about bossing people around. It's about how you carry yourself. It's about small, subtle cues. For example, when you're walking with her through the streets of London at night, you naturally position yourself on the side closer to the road. You don't announce it, you don't brag, you just do it. That's silent dominance. Or when you're out with friends in Birmingham and the group can't decide where to eat, you step in calmly. Let's go here. Trust me, it's good. That simple act of direction separates you from 99% of men who avoid decisions out of fear. Psychologists say women associate strong leadership with certainty, and certainty is one of the most attractive traits in a man. Because in a world full of confusion, a man who knows himself, who makes decisions, who carries himself with quiet authority, he becomes a lighthouse in the storm. Think of the difference between two men on a date in New York. One says, what do you want to do? Do you want to pick? I don't mind whatever you like. The other says, there's a jazz spot I know downtown. You'll love it. Let's go. Who do you think she's obsessed with the next day? The man who led with certainty. The leader's aura doesn't require words. It's in your posture, your decisions, your calm energy. And once a woman feels it, she doesn't just like you. She feels magnetized by you. Because deep down, every woman dreams of being with a man who makes her feel both safe and excited, both guided and desired. And that, brother, is dominance without words. Trick 5. The power of emotional contrast. Be unpredictable in the right way. Here's a truth most men don't realize. Women don't fall in love with monotony. They fall in love with emotional waves. If every moment with you feels the same, predictable, flat routine, her interest dies. But if you can create emotional contrast, if you can take her on a roller coaster of feelings, she will think of you when she wakes up, when she's at work, even when she's out with her friends. Think about it. In London, in Manchester, in New York, women swipe through dating apps filled with men who send the same dry, predictable messages. Hey, how's your day? Or you're pretty, want to hang out? Boring, forgettable. But the man who knows how to spark laughter 1 minute, then silence her with deep eye contact the next, that man stays in her head. Emotional contrast is about giving her variety. Imagine this. You're walking through the busy streets of London, joking about something funny you saw at the cafe earlier. She's laughing, her guard is down. Then you pause, look at her with calm seriousness, and say, I can see you're different from most people I meet. That sudden shift from playful to deep creates a shockwave in her brain. Her emotions spike and she feels something she can't explain. That's the power of emotional contrast. Psychologists explain it like this. Emotions are addictive because they release chemicals in the brain: dopamine for excitement, oxytocin for bonding, serotonin for calm. When you're able to move her through different emotional states, you literally become her source of chemical highs. And the human brain always craves the source of its highs. But here's the catch, you must balance it. Too much drama and she'll feel unstable. Too much calm and she'll feel bored. The key is rhythm. Playful banter followed by a moment of sincerity. Teasing followed by genuine attention. Mystery followed by a glimpse of vulnerability. Think of it like music. A song isn't powerful because every note is loud, it's powerful because it has highs and lows, tension and release. When you create this pattern in her emotions, you're composing a song she can't stop replaying in her head. For example, you're out with her in a London jazz club. At first you're playful, making light jokes about the band. Then suddenly you lean closer and say, There's something about your energy that feels rare. That contrast of humor and depth sends her heart racing. She'll think, this man makes me feel alive. And that's exactly why women become obsessed with men who master emotional contrast. They don't remember every word you say. They remember how you made them feel. So don't aim to be steady and predictable all the time. Aim to be the man who can make her laugh, then pause her world with a glance. The man who's exciting and grounding at the same time. Because once you create those emotional highs and lows, you're not just a man she likes, you're the addiction she can't let go of. Trick 6. The subtle touch, awakening her senses without overstepping. There's one thing women in every city, from Birmingham to New York, admit, behind closed doors. The smallest touches can mean more than the grandest gestures. You see, women are highly sensitive to physical cues, and a subtle, well-timed touch can send a wave of emotion through her body that words alone can never achieve. The mistake most men make is either touching too much, too soon, or avoiding touch completely out of fear. Both are deadly. Too much and you seem desperate. Too little and you remain stuck in the just friends box. But when you master the art of the subtle touch, you awaken her senses, you trigger her subconscious, and you leave her craving more without even knowing why. Think about it. You're sitting across from her in a cafe in Oxford. She makes a witty comment. You laugh, and for a second, you lightly touch her hand before pulling back. Just a brief natural gesture, but her body registers it. Or you're walking together through Camden Market, and you guide her through the crowd by placing your hand gently on the small of her back. It's protective, subtle, and powerful. Why does this work? Science has an answer. Studies in psychology show that touch releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone. Even the smallest touch creates a sense of connection, safety, and intimacy. But here's the deeper truth. Women don't fall in love with words alone. They fall in love with the feelings you create in their body. But timing is everything. You can't force it. A subtle touch works because it feels natural, unplanned, and in rhythm with the moment. If she's laughing, a light touch on her arm emphasizes connection. If you're guiding her across the street in busy traffic, a hand on her shoulder shows leadership and protection. These moments are small, but they linger in her memory long after the date ends. Think about the difference between two men. The first talks for hours, tells jokes, shares stories, but never breaks the touch barrier. The second talks less, but at the right moment, places his hand on hers for 2 seconds before moving away. Which man do you think she'll be thinking about when she's lying in bed at night replaying the date? Always the second, because that touch spoke louder than words. But remember, subtlety is the secret. It's not about grabbing or clinging. It's about the feather-light brush of a hand, the supportive touch in a crowded street, the protective gesture that feels instinctive. These moments bypass her logical mind and go straight to her emotional core. Women in modern cities are surrounded by men who either overdo it or hold back out of fear. The man who masters the balance, the man who understands the art of subtle touch, is the man she can't stop thinking about. Because every time she remembers that touch, she remembers how you made her feel safe, desired, and connected. And that, brother, is how obsession begins. Trick 7. The mystery factor. Never let her fully solve you. Here's something most men never understand. Women don't obsess over what they fully know, they obsess over what they can't quite figure out. If you want her mind replaying you over and over, if you want her lying in bed at night scrolling through your texts, asking herself, what is it about him that I can't let go of? You must master the art of mystery. Think about it. In London, in Birmingham, in New York, women meet men every day who overshare within minutes. He's laying out his job, his ex, his childhood trauma, his plans for the next 10 years. By the end of the first coffee, she already knows his entire life story. And because she knows everything, there's nothing left for her to discover. Boring, predictable, forgettable. Now picture another man. He's open enough to connect. But there's always something slightly untouchable about him. He shares just enough, then redirects with a question. He hints at a past but doesn't explain it all. He lets her see glimpses of depth but never the whole book at once. That man becomes a puzzle. And human psychology is wired to solve puzzles. Women crave discovery. They don't just want to be told, they want to uncover. And when you let her peel back your layers slowly, she feels invested. like she's earning the right to know you. That investment creates emotional attachment. It's not manipulation, it's pacing. Here's a real-world example. Imagine you're at a rooftop bar in London, overlooking the city lights. She asks about your past relationships. Most men would dump the whole story. Instead, you smile and say, "That's a long story, I'll tell you one day." Then you change the subject. That tiny act of withholding, of keeping a little piece of yourself back, plants a seed of curiosity, and curiosity is the root of obsession. But let me be clear, mystery doesn't mean being cold, distant, or secretive. That turns women off. Mystery means giving her just enough light to keep her moving forward, but leaving shadows that invite her deeper. It's like a movie trailer. A great trailer doesn't show you the whole plot. It gives you flashes, hints, emotions, so you can't help but buy a ticket. The mistake weak men make is thinking oversharing builds intimacy. It doesn't. Oversharing is like pouring a bucket of water onto a fire. It kills the spark. Controlled sharing, on the other hand, is like adding logs slowly. It keeps the fire alive all night. Think about your favorite TV series. Why do people binge 10 episodes in a row? Because every episode ends with a cliffhanger. Something unanswered, something unresolved. You need to know what happens next. That's exactly how you must carry yourself. Every interaction with you should end with a little cliffhanger, a comment, a smile, a silence that leaves her thinking. Women in English county cities talk about this all the time with their friends. You'll hear them say, "I can't stop thinking about him. He's so different. There's something I don't quite get, and I want to know more." That is obsession in action. But here's the deeper truth. Mystery isn't just for her benefit, it's for yours too. It protects your value. It shows you're selective with who you let in. It shows you're not desperate to be fully known right away. And most importantly, it forces her to earn you, instead of you throwing yourself at her feet. Here's how to apply it practically. Don't answer every question directly. If she asks what you do, give her the basics but leave some color out. Example: I do something that keeps me busy, but it's not who I am. What about you? Use pauses. Sometimes silence after a comment is more powerful than filling the air with words. Be consistent but not predictable. Text her but not at the exact same times every day. Show up but not always in the exact way she expects. When you build this rhythm, she never feels like she fully has you. And that, ironically, is what makes her fight to keep you. Remember, brother, obsession isn't born out of clarity. It's born out of curiosity. It's not the man she fully understands who keeps her hooked. It's the man she can't stop trying to figure out. So never give yourself away all at once. Leave space for her imagination. Leave pieces of the puzzle unsolved. Because once she starts playing the game of figuring you out, she'll never want to stop. And that, my friend, is how you become unforgettable. Conclusion. Now, brother, if you've made it this far, you're already 10 steps ahead of every man around you. Because while most men are wasting their time chasing women with money, cars, and status, you've just unlocked the real secret of obsession: psychology. Think about it. Women walk away from billionaires, celebrities, and athletes every single day. But they can't walk away from the man who knows how to touch her mind, pierce her emotions, and dominate her heart. That's the rarest kind of man alive, and now you're becoming one of them. But here's the dangerous part. Once you start using these 7 psychological tricks, women will see you differently. Some will feel addicted to your presence. Others will test you even harder because they sense your power. That's why you must remember, this isn't a game. This is your masculine edge. And let me leave you with this thought. It's not about making her obsessed for a night, it's about making her obsessed for a lifetime. So don't just watch this video and forget it. Watch it again, take notes, live it. Because once these principles become part of you, no woman will ever see you as just another guy again. With that said, thanks for watching, brother. Stay sharp, stay unshakable, and remember, the world respects the man who controls his mind first, and then everything else follows. Until next time.